The great hall of the Galactic Council was silent. 500 representatives from different worlds sat in their floating chairs, staring at Elder Hansol. His old hands shook as he gripped the edges of the speaking platform. "We must tell the truth," Elder Hansol said. His voice echoed through the massive chamber. "The humans were not a natural species. We made them." Ambassador Jiwoo, Earth's representative, felt her heart stop. She gripped the arms of her chair so hard that her knuckles turned white. The other council members turned to look at her, their many eyes blinking in different colors. "What do you mean, you made us?" Jiwoo asked. She was proud that her voice stayed steady. Elder Hansol pressed a button. A large image appeared in the middle of the hall. It showed Earth as it was 200,000 years ago. "Your world was chosen," he said. "We needed a planet that could help create strong beings. Earth was perfect." The image changed to show early humans. They looked thin and weak compared to modern humans. "We changed them," Hansol continued. "We made them stronger, smarter, and better at solving problems. They were supposed to be weapons against our enemies." Jiwoo remembered the recent war. 3 months ago, the Drachnid ships had attacked Earth. Everyone thought humans would lose. Instead, Earth's armies had surprised everyone. They'd won battle after battle, using new ways of fighting that the Drachnids had never seen before. "Is that why we won?" she asked. "Because we were made to fight." Elder Taehyun stood up from his seat. He was younger than Hansol, but still very old. "Yes and no," he said. "We made humans to be weapons, but you became much more. You changed yourselves. You grew beyond what we planned." The hall filled with whispers. Some council members looked scared. Others looked angry. A few looked interested. "Show them," Hansol said to Taehyun. Taehyun waved his hand. New images appeared. They showed humans building cities, making art, writing books, and helping each other. "Look at what they did," he said. "They were supposed to just fight. Instead, they made beautiful things. They cared for their weak. They looked at the stars and dreamed of reaching them." Jiwoo felt tears in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "Why tell us now?" she asked. "Because the enemy is coming back," Hansol said. His voice was heavy with worry. "The same enemy we made humans to fight. But now you are not our weapons. You are our equals. Maybe even our betters." The hall erupted in shouting. Some council members stood up, yelling that humans were too dangerous. Others defended Earth, pointing out how humans had helped other worlds. Jiwoo stood up. Her chair floated forward until she was next to Hansol. She looked at all the alien faces in the room. Some had scales, others had fur. Some had many eyes, others had none. But they all watched her now. "You made us," she said clearly, "but we made ourselves into what we are now. If this enemy is coming, we will fight them. Not because you made us to fight, but because we choose to protect our friends." The room grew quiet again. Hansol looked at her with his ancient eyes. "Yes," he said softly, "that is exactly why we are afraid. You have become more than weapons. You have become heroes." Jiwoo nodded. As she looked around the great hall, she knew nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had learned its true beginning. Now, they would write their own future. Elder Taehyun led Ambassador Jiwoo through the council's archive chamber. The room was huge, filled with glowing data crystals that reached from floor to ceiling. Each crystal held thousands of years of galactic history. "These records will show you everything," Taehyun said. He picked up a crystal that glowed bright blue. "This one contains the human project files." Jiwoo watched as he placed the crystal in a reader. The air filled with moving images. She saw a younger Du-Yun, the lead scientist from 200,000 years ago. Her white hair was tied back, and her eyes showed great focus as she worked. "Du-Yun was the smartest scientist we had," Taehyun explained. "She saw something in early humans that others missed. She said they had a spark of greatness in them." The images showed Du-Yun working with DNA strands that floated in the air. We made many changes, Ta-Hyun continued. We gave humans better minds for seeing patterns. We made their bodies able to run for hours without stopping. We helped them adapt to any environment. But why? Ji-woo asked. What enemy was so terrible that you needed to make us? Tai-Hyun's face grew dark. He touched another crystal, and new images appeared. Ji-woo stepped back in shock. The images showed creatures made of shifting darkness. They moved like smoke, but had sharp edges that cut through everything they touched. We called them the Void Runners, Ta-Hyun said. They destroyed entire worlds. No weapon could hurt them. No shield could stop them. We needed something new, something they had never seen before. Jae-woo watched as Do-Hyun's team tested their changes. Early humans grew stronger. They learned faster. They worked together in ways that surprised even their creators. Do-Hyun added something special, Ta-Hyun said softly. She gave humans the ability to care deeply about others, even strangers. She said this would make them fight harder than any programming could. The images showed Do-Hyun arguing with other scientists. Many thought she was wrong. Ta-Hyun explained. They wanted simple weapons. She wanted to create protectors. Jae-woo saw Do-Hyun standing in front of the old council. Your weapons will turn on us, one elder shouted, but Do-Hyun stood firm. They will be better than weapons, Do-Hyun said in the recording. They will be guardians. They will fight not because they must, but because they choose to protect what they love. She was right, Ta-Hyun said. When the Drachnids attacked Earth, humans didn't just fight for themselves. They protected their allies. They saved ships that weren't even their own. Jae-woo touched the image of Do-Hyun. What happened to her? She stayed on Earth, Ta-Hyun said. When the Void Runners disappeared, the Council wanted to destroy their creation. Do-Hyun refused. She erased her own memories and became human. She lived among them, had children, grew old, and died as one of them. Jae-woo felt tears in her eyes again. She believed in us that much. She did, Ta-Hyun said. And she was right. Humans became more than anyone expected. You built great things. You made art. You looked at the stars and dreamed. The Council thought these things made you weak. Now we know they make you strong. Jae-woo stood straighter. We should tell Earth everything, she said. Our people deserve to know the truth. Ta-Hyun nodded. Yes, but be careful. Knowledge can be dangerous. Some humans might be angry when they learn they were made as weapons. They need to know, Ji-woo said firmly, especially if the Void Runners are coming back. We need to be ready. As they left the Archive chamber, Ji-woo looked back at Do-Hyun's image one last time. The ancient scientist seemed to smile at her across time, proud of what her creation had become. Ambassador Ji-woo sat in Elder Sangmin's private office. The security chief looked uncomfortable as he showed her more classified files about Earth's past. After the Void Runners disappeared, the Council had to make a choice, Sangmin explained. He pulled up old records on his screen. Some wanted to destroy Earth. Others wanted to let humans develop naturally. The screen showed ancient ships hovering over Earth. They were using strange devices to affect the planet's development. What did you do to us? Ji-woo asked. Her voice was calm, but her hands were tight in her lap. We slowed you down, Sangmin admitted. We changed Earth's magnetic field to make it harder for humans to discover electricity. We put small devices in the planet's crust to hide certain metals. We tried to keep humans from reaching space too quickly. Jae-woo thought about human history, all the struggles to advance, all the setbacks. It didn't work very well, did it? Sangmin shook his head. No, humans kept finding ways around every barrier we made. When you couldn't find the best metals, you made better ones. When electricity was hard to work with, you found other ways to power your machines. He showed her more images. They were pictures of human inventions through time. Simple tools became complex machines. Small villages grew into huge cities. We thought we were being kind. Sangmin said, "We worried that if humans reached space too soon, other species would destroy them. Or worse, humans would destroy others." "That's not your choice to make," Ji-woo said firmly. "We know that now." Sangmin looked tired. "Every time we tried to slow humans down, they came back stronger. They worked harder. They thought of new solutions we never imagined." He touched his screen again. A new image appeared, showing Earth's first spaceships. When humans finally reached space, many council members were scared. They thought you would be angry and violent. Instead, you wanted to trade, to learn, to make friends. Ji-woo remembered Earth's first contact with alien life. Humans had been excited, not afraid. They wanted to know everything about their new neighbors. The Council's biggest mistake, Sangmin continued, was thinking that weapons can only destroy. But humans proved that strength can be used to protect, to build, to help others. He stood up and walked to his window. The view showed the huge city that housed the Galactic Council. Ships from 100 worlds moved through the sky. "Now we need your help," he said quietly. "The Void Runners are coming back. Our long-range sensors detected them 3 days ago. They have destroyed 2 outer colonies already." Ji-woo felt cold. "How long do we have?" 6 months, maybe less. Sangmin turned to face her. "We need humanity's help. Not because you were made as weapons, but because you have become something much more. You understand both war and peace. You know how to fight, but also when not to fight." Ji-woo stood up. "I will tell Earth's leaders everything. But no more secrets. No more controlling us. If we work together, we work as equals." Sangmin nodded. "Agreed. The time for secrets is over. Now we must prepare for what's coming." As Ji-woo left his office, she thought about how far humans had come. The Council had tried to keep them down, but humans had risen anyway. Now, the very powers that had tried to control humanity needed their help. It was time for humanity to show the galaxy what they could really do when no one was holding them back. General Sunhai stood at the window of Earth's Space Command Center, watching ships take off into the night sky. The news from the Galactic Council had changed everything. She turned to look at the room full of military leaders behind her. "Our recent victories against the Drachnids make more sense now," she said. The other officers nodded. On the main screen, videos showed Earth ships performing impossible maneuvers during the recent war. "Our pilots learned these moves too quickly," Sunhee continued. "Our engineers developed new weapons too fast. Now we know why." She pressed a button, showing brain scans of Earth's pilots before and after the Drachnid attacks. Dr. Yoon-suk stepped forward. The scientist pointed to the glowing areas in the brain scans. "These parts of our brains became more active during the war," he explained. "The Drachnid attack woke up something inside us, something that was sleeping." The room was quiet. Everyone looked at the data showing how humans had suddenly become better at everything during the war. Ships moved faster. Soldiers thought quicker. Engineers solved problems that had stumped them for years. "The Council's genetic programming is still inside us," Yoon-suk said. "When we faced a real threat, it started working again. But there's more." He showed new DNA scans on the screen. "Our DNA has changed," he said. "We didn't just wake up old programming. We made it better. Humans have been improving the Council's work without knowing it." Sunhai walked to the center of the room. "The Council tried to hold us back, but they couldn't stop human nature. We kept growing, kept improving. Even their own genetic programming couldn't stay the same." A young officer raised her hand. "Should we be angry about this? They made us as weapons." "They made us as weapons," Sunhai agreed. "But we chose to be protectors. They tried to control us, but we grew beyond their plans. Now they need our help." The main screen changed to show the Void Runners. The room grew cold as everyone watched the dark creatures destroy an outer colony. The beings looked like living shadows with sharp edges, cutting through everything they touched. "This is what we were made to fight," Son, he said, but we'll fight them our way. Not as mindless weapons, but as thinking beings who choose to protect others. Dr. Yoon-suk showed more data. Each human generation has made small changes to the Council's programming. We've made it more efficient, more powerful, and most importantly, we've tied it to our emotions, our choices. What do you mean? Another officer asked. The Council made us to follow orders, Yoon-suk explained. But humans changed that programming. Now our powers grow stronger when we choose to use them, when we fight for what we believe in. Sun-hai looked at her officers. The Council thought they were making weapons, she said. Instead, they created guardians. Now it's time to show them what guardians can do. The room filled with determined faces. These were not soldiers following programming. These were humans choosing to fight for what they believed in. The Council had created weapons, but humanity had turned that purpose into something greater. As Sun-hai looked back at the stars, she knew the real battle was coming. But humans would face it as they had faced everything else, with creativity, courage, and their own unique strength. Elder Min-ji moved quickly through the Council's monitoring station. The screens around her showed something she had hoped never to see again. The Void Runner's energy patterns were clear and strong. They've changed, she said to the other council members. The dark creatures on the screens moved differently now. Their edges were sharper, their movements more purposeful. They're not just destroying things randomly anymore. They're choosing targets. Ambassador Ji-woo watched the screens with growing concern. The Void Runners were moving straight toward populated systems, ignoring empty space they used to attack. How long do we have? Ji-woo asked. 3 months now, not 6, Min-ji replied. They're moving faster than we expected. We need to make a decision about the human genetic programs. The council chamber grew quiet. Everyone knew what she meant. The original genetic programming in humans was still locked, still waiting to be fully activated. The council could unlock it, but that would change humans forever. We can't make that choice for them again, Elder Hansol said. We must ask the humans what they want. Ji-woo stood up. Then ask us now. I'm here representing Earth. Min-ji touched a screen, showing a simulation. If we activate the full program, humans will become much stronger, faster, smarter. But there might be side effects we can't predict. The program has changed over time, just like humans have. Show me everything, Ji-woo said firmly. The screens filled with data. The original program would have made humans perfect soldiers, following orders without question. But over thousands of years, humans had changed it. Now it was connected to their emotions, their choices, their desire to protect. We don't know exactly what will happen, Min-ji admitted. Humans might become something entirely new, something even we can't predict. Ji-woo watched the Void Runners on another screen. They were destroying a space station, their dark forms cutting through metal like it was paper. No normal weapons could stop them. If we do nothing, what happens? She asked. Min-ji's face grew dark. The Void Runners will reach the inner systems in 3 months. Nothing we have can stop them. Millions will die. Ji-woo stood straighter. Then we need to talk to Earth right now. Our people deserve to know everything and make their own choice. The council members looked nervous. They remembered how humans had surprised them before. What would humans become with their full power unlocked? There's something else you should know, Min-ji said quietly. The Void Runners, they're heading straight for Earth, almost like they remember who you were made to fight. Ji-woo felt cold, but she didn't show fear. Then we don't have time to waste. Open a channel to Earth's leaders. It's time for humans to choose their own path. As the communication system powered up, Ji-woo thought about how far humans had come. They were created as weapons, but had become so much more. Now they faced the choice to take back their full power, not as weapons, but as protectors of their own choice. The screen lit up, showing Earth's leaders waiting to hear what would come next. The time for secrets was over. The time for choices had begun. Dr. Haynewell's laboratory was filled with advanced equipment from both Earth and the Galactic Council. Elder Ta-Hyun watched as she prepared for the first controlled activation of human genetic programming. "Are you sure about this, Captain Yunji?" Haynewell asked the young Space Force officer who had volunteered to be first. Yunji sat calmly in the testing chamber. "Earth voted. We chose to accept our full power. I'm ready to help make that happen." Haynewell looked at her screens. They showed Yunji's DNA, brain patterns, and vital signs. Everything looked normal, but that would change soon. "Remember," Elder Ta-Hyun said, "we don't know exactly what will happen. The program has changed over thousands of years." Haynewell nodded. She pressed buttons on her control panel, starting the activation process. The chamber filled with soft blue light. Yunji closed her eyes as the energy moved around her. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then Yunji's vital signs began to change. Her brain activity increased. Her DNA started to shift in ways the scientists had never seen before. "This is different from the old records," Ta-Hyun said with surprise. "The changes are more complex, more complete." Yunji opened her eyes. They glowed slightly blue for a moment, then returned to normal. She stood up, moving with new grace. "How do you feel?" Haynewell asked carefully. "I feel." Yunji paused, thinking. "I feel more aware. I can sense everything in this room. I can see patterns in the way you both move, in the way the air flows, in the way the machines work." She walked to a computer and touched it. The screen filled with complex calculations. "I understand things I never could before, but it's not just knowledge. I feel more connected to everything." "Any aggressive feelings?" Ta-Hyun asked. "The original program was meant to make weapons." Yunji shook her head. "No, I feel protective, not aggressive. I want to use this power to help others." Haynewell checked her instruments again. "Your brain is using parts that humans normally can't access. Your muscles are stronger, but in a way we've never seen. It's like your whole body has been optimized." Yunji walked to the window, looking out at the city below. "I can see how everything connects," she said softly. "How people work together, how they help each other. It's beautiful." Ta-Hyun looked amazed. "The original program was about combat and destruction. You've turned it into something else entirely." "Humans have always been good at changing things," Haynewell said with a smile. "We took your weapon program and made it into something better." The room's computer suddenly beeped. A message appeared on the screen. The Void Runners had destroyed another colony. They were moving faster now. Yunji looked at the message, her face determined. "How soon can we activate more humans?" "We can start right away," Haynewell said. "We've proved it's safe. Earth's leaders are ready to begin mass activation." "Good," Yunji said, "because I can sense how dangerous these Void Runners are. But I can also see ways to fight them that nobody has tried before. We're going to need every activated human we can get." As Haynewell prepared for more activations, she watched Yunji studying the Void Runner data. The captain was already seeing patterns that the Council's best scientists had missed. Humanity wasn't just waking up their old programming. They were becoming something entirely new. The real question was, would it be enough to stop the coming darkness? General Sun He coordinated Earth's defense from the new Combined Fleet Command Center. Activated humans worked at every station, their enhanced minds processing information faster than any computer. Captain Yunji stood beside her, studying the tactical displays. "The Void Runners have entered the inner systems," Yunji reported. "They've divided into 3 groups. The screens showed the dark creatures moving through space, their shadowy forms cutting through everything in their path. Their strategy is clear now," Sun He said. "They're trying to attack Earth, the Council headquarters, and the main supply routes all at once." She turned to the communications officer. "Send the signal. Execute Operation Lightbringer." Across space, human ships moved into position. Each vessel carried crews of activated humans. They had trained for weeks, learning to use their new abilities together. Now it was time to see if it would be enough. The first battle began near the Council headquarters. The Void Runners expected to find standard defenses. Instead, they met something new. Human ships moved in ways that should have been impossible, predicting where the Void Runners would appear. "Look at the pattern," Yunji said, pointing to the tactical display. "The Void Runners always cut through things in straight lines. They can't change direction quickly." She touched her console, sending new orders to the fleet. "We can use that against them." The human ships began moving in complex patterns, forcing the Void Runners to turn. Each turn slowed them down. Each change of direction made them weaker. The humans had found their first weakness. At the supply routes, another human fleet tried something different. "Energy web activated," reported the fleet commander. The human ships generated special energy fields between them, creating a net in space. When the Void Runners hit it, they couldn't cut through. "They're not invincible," Sunhai said with satisfaction. "They just needed someone to see their weaknesses." She looked at her crew, all of them using their enhanced minds to coordinate the battle. "Someone like us." But the Void Runners were still dangerous. They changed their tactics, trying to adapt to the human strategies. The battle for the Council headquarters became fierce. Ships were lost on both sides. "They're learning," Yunji warned. "But so are we." She closed her eyes, connecting with the other activated humans across the fleet. Together, they saw new patterns, new ways to fight. The human ships began moving in perfect coordination. When one found a successful tactic, all the others instantly knew how to use it. The activated humans were fighting as one mind, but each adding their own ideas. The Void Runners attacking Earth met the strongest defense. Thousands of activated humans worked together, protecting their home. Their ships created complex formations never seen before in space combat. "This is what we were made for," Sunhai said quietly. "Not just to fight, but to protect. To solve problems no one else could solve." The battle raged for hours. The Void Runners were powerful, but they couldn't match human adaptability. Every time they changed tactics, the humans changed faster. Every weakness they showed, the humans exploited. Finally, the Void Runners began to retreat. Their perfect formations broke apart. Their coordinated attacks fell into chaos. For the first time in their existence, they faced an enemy they couldn't defeat. "Send the message to all fleets," Sunhai ordered. "Drive them back. Don't let them regroup." She looked at the battle display with pride. Humanity isn't just fighting for ourselves anymore. We're fighting for everyone. The great test had come, and humanity had proved itself ready. They were no longer weapons, but protectors of their own choice. And they were winning. Ambassador Jiwoo stood before the full Galactic Council 3 days after the final battle. The Great Hall was packed with representatives from every world. Elder Hansol sat in the center chair, looking both pleased and nervous. "The Void Runners have been driven from all known space," Jiwoo reported. "Our fleets are monitoring the outer borders to ensure they don't return, but we believe they have learned not to threaten this galaxy again." "You did more than we ever expected," Hansol said. "You didn't just fight them. You found their weaknesses. You made them retreat completely." Jiwoo nodded. "That's because we fought as humans, not as weapons. We used our minds and hearts, not just our strength." The screens around the hall showed recordings from the battles. Human ships moving in perfect patterns. Activated humans working together in ways that surprised even their creators. Void Runners retreating from the combined might of humanity's forces. "We have a proposal," Jiwoo continued. "Earth wants to create a new defense force, not just for humans, but for all species. We will teach others what we've learned. Help them protect themselves." Murmurs filled the hall. Some council members looked worried. Others seemed interested. Elder Taehyun stood up from his seat. "You want to share the power we gave you?" he asked. "Not the genetic programming," Jiwoo explained. "That's part of who we are now. But we can share our knowledge. our strategies, our way of thinking. We were made as weapons, but we chose to become protectors. Now we want to help others make the same choice. Elder Minji spoke next. The Void Runners might return one day. They might be stronger. Then we'll be stronger too, Ji Woo said confidently. Humans don't stay the same. We grow, we learn, we improve. And now we want to help others do the same. Hansol looked around the hall. The council needs to vote on this proposal. Earth is asking for a major change in how we handle galactic defense. No, Ji Woo said firmly. Earth is not asking. Earth is offering. We will do this with or without council approval, but we would prefer to work together. The hall grew quiet. The council members looked at each other. They remembered how they had tried to control humanity, how that control had failed, how humans had grown beyond their original purpose. Hansol stood up. I call for a vote. All in favor of accepting Earth's offer and creating this new defense force. Hands rose across the hall. Species that had once feared humans now voted to work with them. The council had learned its lesson about trying to control others. The vote is clear, Hansol announced. Earth's proposal is accepted. The new defense force will be created. Ji Woo smiled. Thank you. We will begin immediately. The galaxy needs protectors, not weapons. That's what humans have become. And that's what will help others become too. As she left the council hall, Ji Woo thought about how far humanity had come, created as weapons, controlled as servants, but now standing as equals. The future would bring new challenges, but humans would face them as they always had, by growing, learning, and helping others do the same. The council had created weapons, but evolution had created something far better, protectors who chose their own path.